You know it's super fly when Day Bar is opened. Hip-hop review, news, plus breaking new artists, pop culture, current events with an urban view of it. This is all things hip-hop, delivered raw, unpolitically correct, the fans' perspective, putting all artists in check. Dope content, current hot by remarkable men. Our thoughts, clearly. Welcome to Audio Theory.
Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Week back from a nice week off from work. I went back to work on Monday. Everyone's like, hey, where'd you go? Tell me, I'm like, bro, I stayed my ass at home and did nothing. And it was the best week of my life. So I'm really refreshed, recovered. So ready to talk about some topics. But how about you, man? How was your week after Hawaii?
It was good. Kept it pretty low key. My girl and I went to see a lot of movies because we have the AMC pass. And for whatever reason, last month,
do you feel like it's worth it?
I think it's worth it if you go to more than one movie per month.
And you feel safe? Like you don't feel like it's like whatever COVID or something?
No. Every time we go to the theater, unless it's like a fucking blockbuster hit, there's only like 4 or 5 people in the theater every time we go. Like, it's weird because at work, I'll tell people, they'll ask how my weekend was.
They'll look at you
went to the movies. Like, no, you went like as if I was out fucking sucking doorknobs or some shit. They don't, I guess a lot of people still surprisingly don't go to the theaters, but I personally prefer to watch it in theaters. If I had a dope setup like yours, of course, I would probably want to watch it. Wouldn't mind watching it at home as well. But the movies we saw were Candyman. We saw, what was the other one? Damn, I'm running a blank. Don't Breathe 2.
Haven't seen that one. Oh, so it's basically scary movie themes, pretty much.
Yes, that one was really, really good. It's, if you haven't seen the first one, you could even watch that. But it's basically about an old blind man who is ex-military and people break into his house and he ends up fucking killing
I saw the trailer for that. Actually looked fire. It's scary, but also almost very action-packed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super action.
He fucks people up, right?
Yeah, he fucks people up, and it's crazy because in real life he's like 70, but he's so fit. He's probably fitter than both of us.
Oh wow, that's wild because he looks fucking phenomenal in the trailer I saw.
And then the other one we saw, which wasn't that good, was Night House, and that's another horror movie, but
nice.
So it wasn't that scary.
How much is the AMC Stubs membership fee?
I want to say it's like $20 a month.
Per person?
Yeah, per person.
That's
and I want to say a ticket is about $20. Movies are like 16, $17
matinee hours.
Yeah.
Actually pretty fire.
Mm-hmm.
So they're assuming you won't do more than one movie a month, and they're pretty much making it back.
Whereas I do at least 2 a month, and it's cool because you get to see. Like in the past, I would be like, unless I really want to see this shit, I would just never go. But now it's like, all right, this movie might suck, but I'm not losing money because it's a subscription.
Yeah, dude. And think about all the fucking subscription fees we've been paying for. I have Peacock TV to only watch soccer on Saturdays. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So just throwing money away. So you might as well go. Because there is, to your point, before I moved into this place, dude, I actually went to the movie theaters I think 3 times during COVID because I was like, bro, let's go fucking check it out. But yeah, once you have a big projector at home, and especially because now they're releasing so many films at home now instead of the theater. Well, simultaneously, it's oh, why not? But no, there's definitely a few movies that they keep hinting at are just going to be in theater releases. So yeah, I'll look into AMC Stubs. Make sure my stocks are working for me in the right way.
All right.
Nice. All right, let's get into them, bro. I feel I want to go into the Drake thing, and I know this episode is going to be heavy Drake. So we'll get to that in a second. But bro, this story that we're about to bring up really fucking shook me. So bro, Pop Smoke's gravesite being vandalized, and rumors that they tried to actually, I guess it was a mausoleum. If you don't know that, that's the grave where it's actually in a wall as opposed to in the ground. And I guess they were trying to remove the body or some shit. But couldn't break through. That shit disgusted me on so many levels. What was your initial reaction when we spoke about that offline?
I think my first reaction was I wasn't surprised at all.
Really?
Normally when, for instance, the emotion I felt when I found out Pop Smoke died or Nipsey died, that shocked me. But when you sent me this, obviously I was disturbed, but I wasn't surprised at all. Like, I think when they announced, I think at some point they announced there was going to be a mural of some sort or something, or maybe this is the same thing, but I'm not surprised, just because I feel like in this day and age, like, people are so disrespectful and like desensitized to death that I imagine someone who was young, or a group of people probably were just like, fuck it, wouldn't it be cool to like try to find his dead body, or like just fuck shit up? And I think for me, it was just something I sort of expected to happen at some point or another, which is sad, because that's not the kind of
I feel like that's sad,
world
like,
we want to live in.
Yeah, that's the reality. That's wild. So yeah, I mean, dude, I was disgusted by it. I mean, just the idea, like, dude, I know when I go to grave sites now, which unfortunately I've been going more often than not in the past year and a half, like, dude, I'm very protective of like where I walk, right? Because I don't want to, I disrespect, the dead by stepping on their side or
flowers or something.
Yeah, dude. Or even like when I lean back to like talk to my mom, like sometimes I lean back on the grave in front of her, and I'm like, ooh, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Yeah. So this, I was like, bro, like, have some fucking respect. But then my thing is like, if Pop Smoke really was, this goes back to the whole Nipsey thing as well. Like, if Nipsey had beef, like, it sucks, but like, did you have that coming, quote unquote, if you are a part of that life? So just because someone's died, like, if you're the enemy of that person, does that mean it's off? Or do you still hold grudges that if he was alive, you would kill him again, hypothetically, right? So I wonder, like, if you are like the ops for Pop Smoke, and if he really was about that life, that he, killed one of your friends or violated you some kind of way, does that stop because you're dead? Or does that hatred just stay there forever? That you're like, bro, fuck that, I'll go piss in his grave right now, like, kind of a thing, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm kind of like, I'm disgusted as a human being, but then I'm like, if you're a part of that life, is this like almost like a normal thing, right? Like, yo, it's on forever, this life or the afterlife, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And I don't know, based on like some of the songs we hear that are played, like usually the drill music, like they say some pretty disrespectful shit. And it's one thing to say something and to actually like deface someone's tombstone or whatever, but just hearing how people talk about the dead when it comes to hip hop, I'm not too surprised that people would go to this extent. And again, like I've fortunately never been in this situation where someone took someone I love's life, and it got me to a point where I was just like vengeful and willing to do whatever. But I guess I could understand how, if, let's say hypothetically, Pop Smoke killed someone's brother and like the rest of their life they're like, yo, fuck him forever. I could see how to them doing this, it might not be that big of a deal. It's like, well, he deserved it. But I'm inclined to say
that person's like, he hypothetically killed someone you love or know,
right?
And then he's also being depicted as like the greatest thing that ever happened to like hip hop culture. So you have like now like, this dude's fucking famous, but he did this to me. Like, I can see that. I mean, I could never do it, but I can see someone's mind just racing like, yo, I want fucking revenge forever.
Mm-hmm. And I think the unfortunate thing too is like, when it comes to celebrities, we kind of dehumanize them in a lot of ways. Like, a lot of times we treat them just like this mythical character, and like whatever we do or say about them doesn't really impact them or their family. Like, people are literally online telling these celebrities to kill themselves, send death threats, stalk them, do all kinds of crazy shit. And I think that's another reason why I'm not too surprised. Like, if this was, it'd be even more shocking if someone were to just go to a random grave site and just do this to random people, because it's like, yo, how do you have this much evil in your heart? But yeah, I don't know if they ever came out with the motivation behind this, did they?
No, I don't think anyone like claimed that, yo, we did this kind of a thing, at least not for myself from like any of the major sites that we check for news. I don't know, it just broke my heart that honestly see his mom and brother, or maybe his dad, like cleaning up the gravesite, like, trying to remove like whatever graffiti was there. Like, I was like, bro, come on, man. Like, I don't know, again, if he was a part of that life, like, I can kind of get it, like, to your point, but like, it just seems so, again, and it's sad that we've used this phrase multiple episodes now, but like the lack of respect for now, like a human life, but now a human life that he's not even has any life yet in it, and people are still like okay with shit like this. I'm like, bro, like that's a cold world, bro. Like a cold world. And again,
right.
And we forget it was Pop Smoke was a child, bro. Like I think, like, for example, like Corey, your brother,
right.
I found out he's like 27, and to me, I'm like, he's a fucking kid.
Yeah.
You know, like to think that Pop Smoke was 20 years old, bro. Like,
right.
At some point, you'd be like, come on, man. Like, you know, like, can we just be sad that a child lost his life and like, let's just let the dead be dead and move on, kind of a thing.
Right.
So that's where, like, again, to your point, like we dehumanize these fucking artists so much that I feel people have been more like saddened that we're not gonna have more Pop Smoke music, as opposed to like, damn, dude, a 20-year-old was violently fucking murdered like in a Airbnb. Like, I feel like that should be the headline. That and only that. Like, fuck the music, but
right.
It's just the nature of this fucking monster.
Yeah, and I think it was even what made it more of a reality and more sad for me was seeing like his parents like alone, just like sweeping up shit and picking up shit and praying to his grave. Like two people who, as far as we know, like had absolutely nothing to do with his lifestyle and everything, just trying to mourn their son and relive the good moments,
which
and
they do every day,
shit.
right? Not just when a song comes on. Like, for us, like we hear fucking whatever, we're like, oh man, Pop Smoke. But like, it's not like, oh, like I'm not walking to my car thinking about like how sad this is, right? Whereas like they're literally like moved to tears and like grieving every second of the day. So to fucking get that call that, oh, come, please come and help us. Like, come on, man. Like that's where I feel for them.
Yeah. And hopefully, like, I mean, if it helps them sleep better at night, they just kind of realize, their son achieved greatness, and this is kind of just a natural side effect sort of thing, as opposed to like, oh, this is, the end of the world, and, the world is just purely evil. Yeah.
And hopefully I think they are like, they believe in like another life from here. So like, you can't do anything to the flesh that the soul isn't there anymore. I think it's like a Christian thing. So but yeah, man. So fuck them, whoever did that, because that was fucking disturbing. But we'll get into some more positivity for the rest of this episode. So honestly, the most positive thing I saw, I said this shit to you the moment I saw fucking, I think Khaled posted this first. Dude, we were impressed when Drake went 1, 2, and 3. And then he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we'll give Kid Laroi 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was like, bro, how the fuck does this even happen, bro? Like, this is wild, man. Like, I know, like, I was in a group chat with my boys yesterday, and we were talking about like top 5 of all time and all this shit when I brought this up, which a debate for another day. I know streaming numbers are, inflates the fuck out of this, but it's still like, this is the world we live in, and he's clearly the one who does it better than anybody else. So like, your thoughts when you saw the 9 out of 10 top 10 records of the country this week being Drake's?
Yeah. I mean, I hate to sound like I have a super boring reaction to all this, but even with that, I wasn't too surprised. It's almost like
that's what he does.
I'm just like, Drake, like, I would be surprised if he didn't do this shit almost.
Which is wild though. Like, which is wild.
Yeah, it is wild. And I think it's just because he's like this brand at this point that you can't get away from. And I saw a documentary that it was talking about Drake. I think it didn't have the best, it didn't portray him in the best way, but it basically
like him the artist or him the person?
Him the artist. Okay. And it basically said the analogy was like the Marvel movies, like these movies are gonna hit records, outsell everything, but does that mean Marvel Endgame is objectively the best movie? And
bro, I was crying that motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie, that shit moved me to tears, though. So like,
no, that movie was dope. But then again, like, I didn't walk away thinking like,
Oscar
this was
performance.
Oscar performance type thing. And not to say Drake doesn't have substance or this and that, but I think he's at the point where everyone from the casual listener to the diehard fan is going to tune in and love it. Everyone of all ages, like, he's perfect for every mood. And this album, I think, was, I mean, a lot of people's criticism, but I feel like he had a song for damn near every single mood and just like splashed it on us and was like, fuck it, go stream it. And it ended up happening.
Yeah, no, I get it, dude. Like, you're right. Like, it's it's not surprising, but yet to me though, it was shocking to see though. Like it's like when you study for an exam, but you're like, I definitely got a couple wrong, and then you got a fucking perfect score, and it's like, what the fuck? What? You know what I mean? Like you prepare, so you should know what's gonna happen, but like when it happens, that achievement is still fucking, pretty amazing. So yeah, no, I don't know, bro. That was just, it's crazy, dog. And like again, he doubled Kanye in overall streams. So again, everyone's still debating about which is better, which is not. We're not gonna get back into that at all. But I will say this: for me, I'm listening to the album more now, and like, dude, bumping it even harder now. Now that I know the lyrics, and I'm just like, oh, this is kind of a vibe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, I played back "I Miss You Too" 4 times on my drive to work today. Nice. And then what's another one that really fucking Race My Mind, which like before wasn't even my top 12 songs. And now you play it more. That's just a vibe, dog. Like it's a fucking vibe. So again, it depends what mood you're in. I get that, but like I saw some meme. It was like, I can't wait for CLB to drop so Drake can tell me how I should feel today. You know what I mean? Like that's like he almost like makes you want to be like, yo, I hate my fucking ex. Let me text that bitch back. Well, let me go take care of my kid. Let me go have a kid. You know what I mean? Like it's like, what do I want to do today? So I don't know, bro. Like I think he's figured out a formula. I agree with what we said last week. Like I think if he wants to be the artist of the decade again for the 20s, he's gonna have to kind of not recreate himself, but maybe just switch it up a bit. Maybe try different producers and more tracks. But as of right now, I feel like his algorithm and formula is just on point every fucking time. Mm-hmm. Like, and then we spoke offline, like, and we talk about it now. Like, do we think, like, tell people what you were thinking. Like, do you think like he actually is taking the criticism to heart of the album, or do you think he just doesn't care?
I would say it bothers him, but I don't think it bothers him enough. I think whatever he comes out with next, he's probably gonna address this indirectly, and is gonna be
like the criticism he got.
Yeah, like I think he's gonna do something different, and it would be smart of him to do it. Yeah, I don't think it would be smart of him to go too far off into some like what Kanye did with 808s or something, and just do a bunch of random shit to like appease us. But I feel like
that's just still hard though.
Yeah, it was super hard. But I know for a while, like people were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And now everyone's top 3 Kanye album has 808s in it.
100%. Yeah, dude. I remember that's a thing. Like, I was listening back to a couple of our episodes about Donda the first time, like when we were doing like the listening sessions or whatever. And I'm like, bro, he's just doing all these fucking antics. Like, he doesn't believe in the music. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I like, dude, remember like there was an 808 like press conference in like Australia, I think. And they were asking about like, the instruments he used. And he was like, listen, man, like, who are you to question my genius? Like, this is what the fuck I do. And like, next question. I was just like, bro, what? Like, I mean, so like, even that kind of shit is antics per se, right? So I feel like this has always been him. Is just a different level now, because obviously he's a fucking billionaire and can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Mm-hmm. And I know Drake has a brand and everything, and I forget if I mentioned this when we did our review last week, but I think it would be dope if he, and maybe not necessarily for an album, but even for a mixtape or EP or something, if you worked with like different producers like Hit Boy or Pharrell or whoever else, just to bring something else out of him. You can still rap and do the same thing, but I mean the song he did with, what is it, Brent Faiyaz or whatever, how do you pronounce his name?
Which one was this, on the album?
No, it was that one he was featured on. Wasting Time, Brent Faiyaz.
I don't know. Oh yeah, I actually didn't like that song, to be honest.
This one?
I remember that was on every.
Yeah,
I actually didn't like the one that the cover art is like them as babe artists, right? Characters. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually didn't like that song. I was like, oh fuck, he finally has a miss. Yeah, like, I didn't like that song.
I mean, I won't say I absolutely loved it, but when I heard it, I was like,
most Drake features though. But I'm gonna cut you off. I'm always like repeating that shit. Like I'm always like, oh, this is the one. Like even like the Young Blue remix that he's on. I'm like, yo, this is holy shit. Like, how does he keep doing this? But this was the other one. I was like, like it is what it is.
Yeah, I think for me it was more so the nostalgic Pharrell beat, and then me thinking to myself, damn, like Drake really has been on so many familiar, like, or the same beats, I feel like, recently. And I was like, it would be dope if Pharrell and just Hit Boy. We were talking about fucking how he like reinvented Nas basically.
Completely.
I think it would just be tight if Drake experimented with different production
Totally
for whatever
agree.
next project.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree, bro. Yeah, I think to answer that question, I think he will have to reinvent himself to some capacity, but yeah, not straying too far from the form. Like clearly he knows that works, but like it's gonna keep working till it doesn't, bro. Like to be perfectly honest, like I wonder. That's my fear almost. Like, will he change? Because like, yeah, people can criticize him, but like, dude, if it keeps like eventually turning into like a classic album, quote unquote, like it's like what the fuck am I changing for, bro? Like you guys just take a while to figure out what the fuck I was trying to say or understand why that beat was perfect. Cause like, dude, same thing for a dude like Nothing Was the Same. There were like 2 or 3 songs that I did fuck with immediately, but for the most part of the album, I left that album after like the first 2 listening sessions, like, whatever. Like it sounds like all his other shit. Like what was he even trying? Like Wu-Tang was about a girl, not the fucking, like the group. Like what the fuck was that? And then after a while, like Wu-Tang, my favorite song.
Oh no, that's when when this whole criticism thing was going on, I went back to Nothing Was the Same because I felt like I never gave it a proper listen. And that song to this day is like probably one of my favorite Drake songs.
Right, but we went into it expectations like, yo, he just dropped, what did he just drop before that? Maybe it was Take Care? Yeah, I think Take Care was right before. So Take Care was instant fucking classic. Like I think that was critically acclaimed by everyone. But that Nothing the Same kind of sounded the same. So we're like, oh, he just did the same.
Everything's the same.
He's singing again. Come on, bro. You're a rapper. What are you doing? And then, bro, like literally like 2 years later, people say that's his best album of all time. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think he's gonna take like another 2-year break, to be perfectly honest. And I think he'll see how this one is still being received then, and then decide, should I really change, or are we 4 years into the 20s and I'm still the #1 fucking rapper, and like, who really is fucking coming for me, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we'll it depends on if he, just blows our minds, but I feel like down the road we're gonna look back on this moment and be like, CLB is actually one of the better ones if we're gonna compare to everything.
I'm telling you, dog. I listened to that because I went to work today and it was mad traffic, so that became like a 35-minute drive. Bro, I was like halfway through that album, like, yo, bangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was listening to it in the gym today, and I was like, shit, I really need to start giving these albums more time, because like Fair Trade for me was like a whatever track the first 2 times, and now I'm like, yo, that boy's spitting, dog. Right. My favorite part is when he's talking about his mom's disability and gave him this ability. Like that part, he just flowed off the top.
Well, like, yo, even if like there was no Travis feature, I'd be fine. Like it was just Drake by himself.
Yeah,
like that song is. And then, dude, honestly, I think as of right now, I think TSU is my favorite track on the album. Like, that beat and that setup is phenomenal to me. It's like, I was like, bro, this shit has nothing but bangers. And then I'm like, what is the criticism? You know what I mean? But okay, these things just grow on you over time. Yeah. You keep listening to more, you start seeing what they're trying to say. Especially him, bro. I'm dead honest. Like with him, I've never been first listen. I'm like, oh, instant fucking, like even like So Far Gone. Like that mistake took me like almost like 3 listens to figure out like, yo, why is like a rock song and like a Licky Like, he's like, what the fuck are we doing here? And then I was like, oh, this is fucking genius. So
yeah. Do you think there's any merit to, because I've seen a ton of random podcasts and whoever all basically say Drake is immature for his age and like the Playboy image thing won't last forever. Do you think there's any merit to that? And do you think he'll reach a point where he'll have to be like a Jay-Z and rap about business deals and like being a dad and shit for people to take him seriously?
I know, dude. I heard that as well. And there was like even a meme where it was like J. Cole talking to Drake at the bar, and it's like, you're not a certified lover boy, you're a grown ass man. You know what I mean? Like act your fucking age. But dude, yes and no, bro. We were fucking praising Hugh Hefner when he was 76 in a row. You know what I mean? Like, so what's the fucking difference? Like, I'm sure he's gonna have to rap about other shit, but like, if he's single at 40 and still living a phenomenal life that we all low-key aspire to be, like, you obviously love your girl, gonna be your future wife, I love mine, but like, bro, let's be fucking real. Like, if we could trade places, like, I'm trading pretty quick. You know what I'm saying? That's like, dude, yeah, I'm not gonna criticize him, bro. Like, if he's rapping about what his life is, then I'm all. Now, again, if it comes off like fake, whereas sometimes I struggle with Future because like he's still talking about drugs, but like, you clearly said you don't do drugs anymore. So like, what are we talking about? But if Drake's still talking about his life, like whatever that life is, I'm all about it, bro. Because I know it's gonna be slick and clever. And then again, dude, like he's also like his son's gonna be older. There'll probably be different conversations. Like his parents are getting older, so at some point, like he'll still be making music. One of them, hopefully no time soon. I'm not putting it out there, but like one of them may pass. So like there's gonna be certain conversations that you'll be intrigued to see how he deals with that emotionally, right? So like I feel like to say like I feel those comments are kind of lazy because like if you think Drake hasn't grown lyrically since So Far Gone, you're fucking crazy. Now, if it sounds the same, sure. But lyrically, he's, dude, highly evolved since fucking the summer of 2009. So. Yeah.
And what's even more wild to me is I would hear these conversations and I would look up his age. I'm like, this motherfucker is only 34. We're basically the same age.
Same age.
And I don't feel old. I don't feel like anything he's talking about is some childish 18-year-old shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you guys are bugging if you think being early 30s or even mid 30s is old or even late 30s. Like to me, old is like 50 plus if we're gonna even call someone old.
100% though. Like, this motherfucker is he's not even hit his prime. Like Loverboy shit, you know what I mean? Like, he has plenty of Loverboy years left, so yeah, I feel like that's just like, bro, but it's haters, bro. Like haters hate that because again, I think we were talking about this with the like Kevin Samuel shit, right? It's like, who's really mad at women like that? Well then, all right, who's really mad at fucking Drake? It's dudes who could never fucking do what Drake does, or their favorite rapper can't really rap like that, or isn't getting the accolades. It's like, oh, dude, he's fucking childish. My rapper talks about real shit. Sorry, bro, but no one listens to your fucking rapper. So like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I've seen that criticism. Even with like academics, people will be like, yo, bro, go start a family. And I feel like it is people who don't want to see someone at this age, like quote unquote, having fun or doing
living
something
their best
different.
Life. And I hate that phrase because you see it every fucking girl's like, but it's true, bro. Like that's what it is. Like, literally living his best life. Like, family taken care of, dope crib. Like everyone's healthy right now, thank God. Like, what the fuck are we mad about, bro? Like, so he's fucking bitches all the time. Like, good for him. like good for him.
Right. And if you think about it, someone at his level would find it incredibly difficult to find a woman he's into and can trust and like understands him. Like it's hard enough for regular people like you and I, let alone the man, like when it comes to hip hop, the most interesting man in the world or whatever equivalent. And people act like it's just so easy to be like, yo, just find this chick, have a fucking baby with her, and
settle down, bro. Settle down. I know you're almost about to hit $1 billion, but settle down. Take it easy. It's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, go back to your 401k. Give me the fuck alone. But dude, I like think about like your point right now about like how difficult it is, bro. I remember, I was only single for like 3 months. I may not have the best voice right now, but I remember those 3 months. I went on a couple Hinge dates, and bro, I remember being on that date and being like, is this bitch only here for the free meal? Like, I literally like thought that because the date was going so poorly. So imagine him, bro. Like, he's just gonna ask you out and be like, oh, let's go to fucking Nobu. And you're like, all right, let's go back to my crib. And you're like, the girl's like there the whole time just posting herself with Drake. And it's like, so like, do you like me? Or like, are we like, I mean, dude, it has to be so hard, bro. It has to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I personally don't find the content that big of an issue. It is somewhat repetitive, but I never thought to myself, oh, Drake is like being childish and shit.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is his life right now. And if that's the case, then fuck it. Like, he made this choice, and a lot of people would immediately switch to be in his shoes if they could.
All day. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see though, out of those top 9 songs, like how many stay, because you know how this shit is. Like, like I think he's when he was 1, 2, and 3, I think only like actually one song stayed in the top 10 the following week. But I wonder if a lot of people are like us right now, like running it back to be like, nah, bro, this shit has to have way more hits. Let's see what happens. But quick shout out to Kid Laroi. Jesus Christ. To think in a week where Drake dominated, your song still stayed there strong. Like, yep, I'm still here. So it literally stayed.
The Bieber one? The
yeah.
Bieber Leroy. I'm so sick of that song. Not to shit on him. I just hear it everywhere I go. Like TikTok, memes, like it's just constantly playing.
Song slaps though, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Like as far as like people who know a formula, like yo, that motherfucker Bieber like got that shit down. We're gonna make this song 1 minute and 45 seconds long. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna have the hook 3 times. And
is that really how long it is?
Bro, I don't think it's more than like 2 minutes and like 10 seconds. Like that shit is short. Look it up. Am I bugging? Like it's short, bro.
I'm looking it up right now. It is fucking short. It's 2 minutes 20 seconds. That's like a whole minute shorter than
bro,
that's
song. A minute short, bro. Like that is like XXXTentacion's level, and this was like 2 people on a song. Like you know what I mean? Like so, dude, imagine.
Especially that.
Dude, this is what I hate about like, and I love Posty, you know, as much as you do. Like, but bro, what I hated about the Post Malone concert for his last album was bro, if the feature's not there, the song's 1.5 minutes, bro. So imagine this 2 minute and 20 second song. If Bieber's not there with fucking Leroy on his world tour, that song is 45 seconds, bro. Like that's like,
that's so true.
I'm like, bro, like, what are we just doing the hook over and over again? Like, what?
I mean, that's as long as I want to hear it though. So I personally won't complain, but I do think that's unfair.
Dude, yeah.
Especially because that 45 seconds is like what the hook in like 10 words.
His verse, yeah. And like his verse, their verses are real fucking condensed because it's a short song. So, which is another reason why I think like I know Donda would be an experience and I'm sure he would, you know, make it a cool way. But bro, when you have all those features, like that has to take away from the live performance if the artist isn't there. Right. You know what I mean? Like overwhelmingly people like those songs are hits because of other people. Like I feel like at least Drake shit is like hit. So all right, bro, if you don't have Little Baby for Girls on Girls, I'm still fucking perfectly fine with just your version and the hook. You know what I mean? So like,
and I think the benefit Drake has is he has so many hits that are hits because of him. Whereas like if Leroy's, let's just say, use him as an example, if all his biggest hits are with Bieber and this person and that person, Lil Tecca, whoever, then that leaves you limited in terms of
wanting a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't get it. People will still pull it off clearly. Like, again, Post Malone's show was still phenomenal, but when he was finished with his old catalog and then went to the current album, bro, that was a fucking quick set. And I was just like, oh, the concert's over? Like, what the fuck?
And I'm also surprised. Actually, I was looking this up because I personally felt similarly about Post Malone's last album to CLB, and I was surprised to see a lot of people actually put Stoney at the bottom of the list and Hollywood's Bleeding as number 2.
Really?
A lot of people like Beer Bongs and Bentleys as the best album. I personally do like. I think I do like that album the most too, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Hollywood's Bleeding.
Yeah, for the same reasons that I just mentioned. I thought it was too many features that didn't make sense. That, and also, like, again, I know like man, to gain the streaming numbers back then, but 2 years ago was like short songs, you know, they have to run through it over and over again. But yeah, dude, I would put Stoney 1 just because I think like there's like cult classics in that. Whereas like Beer Bongs and Bentleys were like, it was dope, but it wasn't like, I don't know, groundbreaking. It was just like the world realizing that we have a star here. But then I think Hollywood is Burning was like, all right, we have to keep you a star. Let's just get every popular artist ever and give you, you know, 20 songs to talk shit on. So I don't know, but again, dude, he's another one, but like even he's another one who's like such a fucking, he's like 24 years old, I think, right now or something. Like super young, like complete fucking cheat code, bro. Like whatever he puts out is just gonna go fucking through the roof.
100%.
Yeah, but again, shout out to Drake. Surprising, but not surprising. Complete. I agree with your point. But again, when your now standard is if you drop an album, you're gonna have 9 of the top 10 records in the country. That's fucking crazy,
Right.
And like not like on Apple Music, like whatever the fuck that means, bro. Like the Billboard still has like that aroma of like, yo, this seems authentic, like what the people actually like, not just the people stream on Apple. So
Yeah,
again, kudos to him. But speaking about what the people want, bro. Again, this might, and I don't have it in the rundown, but I know, again, I didn't watch it, so I think we will all still relate, dude. So the VMAs were on Sunday. We're recording this on Tuesday, the 14th. Bro, I don't know if it's me or my eagerness to go watch a live show. Bro, I could have gave 2 shits about this. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, oh my God, let me go watch like who's performing and what they're gonna. I'm like, bro, like I'm gonna fuck who won the award. Like, yo, if I'm not at the live show, like I'm not trying to watch a live show. Like, does that make sense? Like, I was like, bro, like they're like, oh, Harlow, and I'm like, cool, bro. Like, but I want to see them. Like, I don't want to like fucking see it through TV and like the mics don't really work and like the sound's not really coming through clear. Like, I want to fucking be there. So like, bro, to watch 2.5 hours of this shit, I was like, bro, you can just tell me who won, and I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, and I think for me too, like the stakes aren't that high. Like, I don't think the average artist really gives a fuck about a VMA that much. At least established ones. Like Drake could give 2 fucks if he wins a VMA.
Which is wild to me again. And this is why, again, Travis is so young, but he really was excited about winning Video of the Year. I'm like, all right, bro, cool. Like, all right,
yeah.
Where's the album?
Right. And I would be too, but I mean, it's for me. I mean, we've been so accustomed to watching shit virtually. It was kind of cool when the pandemic started because people were doing different things to keep people engaged and stuff. And now I just feel like it's all about the antics, who can wear the weirdest outfit and say the most outlandish
I didn't watch the show, but whatever Doja Cat was doing, like I didn't get. You know what I mean? Like I was like, all right, bro, there's a chair on your head, like cool. Like I don't.
She had a chair on her head?
Yeah, there was one outfit where like she had like a red chair like on her head, like facing like, and then there was one outfit where like it completely covered her entire body. I was like, bro, like I don't know what's going on, but
what the hell?
So to watch people perform their songs in between, and I'm like, bro, like this is. Tell me who won, and I'll be like, cool, I'll check out the video. But like I just.
Oh yeah, I see that shit now. She has literally a chair on her head. I thought
literally
you were exaggerating. What the fuck? See, why does nowadays fashion, or maybe this was always the case, but I feel like people consider fashion just doing the most ridiculous shit to draw attention to yourself.
Clout. Remember, I mean, I think we spoke about this before. I feel like attention is the highest form of currency right now. So
yeah,
I guess, dude. But yeah, I just wanted to hear your take because I feel as a kid, I was all about this shit. But as we got older, especially like since we've been friends, like we've been doing way more like live shows. I'm like, bro, why the fuck would I watch this shit for 3 hours? Like, like the Grammys again. That's something like, all right, the Grammys, bro. But like the VMAs, like, bro, like really, I'm gonna watch this shit. Like, why?
Yeah, to me, it's almost like the watching Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards or something. Yeah, like, I was just
and again, I know that people make this joke all the time, but it's also like the VMAs were dope because MTV would only show videos. Like MTV doesn't even show videos anymore. So what the fuck do we care what MTV thinks about who the best artist is? Like, if there was like a YouTube award or some shit, I'd be intrigued. But like, who gives a fuck what MTV thinks now?
Speaking of it. There isn't a YouTube awards, is there? I feel like that would be a dope thing to watch.
I think there's a Webby award, but
something along those lines.
Yeah, but I think that's like a breakdown of like maybe I think that's internet-based programming, but I don't know. I'm sure YouTube is a part of that, but I don't think there's like a YouTube specific. Hey, you are YouTube Artist of the Year, or whatever.
Yeah.
But one day, hopefully, we have that big like YouTube gold plaque like right behind me, and I'm like, yo. We are good.
That's the
goal. My job, like we are good. All right, what else is out there? This is a good conversation you and I had offline that I wanted to bring to the pod as well. So let the people know that question you asked me about, like if I think you put it like around like if Drake or Kendrick weren't around, like what would be the result of like shit?
Yeah, I was just like if Kendrick, basically the top 4 or 5 artists, in my opinion, right now, not of all time, would be Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, Kanye, and Travis. Basically, the 5 guys who could stop time if they release something. Completely. If those guys did not exist, who would kind of take the torch and keep things running and be the guy to lead everything in the industry for hip hop.
So I'll say my answer, but just in case you had a different one, who were you gonna say? Before I had my thoughts, like who was gonna be your person?
This was a tough one, but I was gonna say, just based on like the optics of everything these past couple of years, I was gonna say either Future or Young Thug. I know those would be controversial answers because they're not the most conscious lyrical dudes, but in terms of like just clout and impact, I couldn't really think of anyone else at that level. So that's why I said those two guys.
Yeah, I think both are good, dude. I mean, I've been on the pod saying that I thought Young Thug was going to take over 2020, remember? Because I thought So Much Fun was a phenomenal fucking album. So I do stop what I'm doing to listen. I mean, albums, yes. When he drops these random like features here and there, like I don't really give a fuck. For Future, like I don't really stop everything I'm doing, but he's also a performer I've went to see live 3 times. He puts on a phenomenal fucking, like his catalog is fucking, bro, ridiculous. Like he could perform for 2.5 hours straight and it's nothing but fucking hits. So I can see Future running shit if those like 4 or 5 guys wasn't around. For me, my answer would be ASAP Rocky, which I think we don't really talk about ASAP Rocky's music like the last like couple of years, right? Like, we never really like, when is he dropping, right? Whereas, but dude, I really think that's because like the road to the top in front of him is just so long. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people in front of him because like those core 5 have put on other people who have also become even bigger from their like tree of success. So he just seems like, like people respect me. If I jump on a track, it's going to be good. Right, I think he's been on a couple features recently. We're like, oh, that's fucking legit. And but dude, he's just so famous. And dude, he has the Rihanna, fuck's sakes. He's doing his fashion thing. So I think there's just so many other things he's happy about right now that he doesn't really try. But I think if like the road was clear for him just to fucking take off, I think ASAP with his cult following would be the fucking guy, like the guy.
Yeah, I respect it. And to be clear to the listeners, like this excludes people who already had their run, like Jay-Z and Lil Wayne.
Yeah,
like obviously those guys are amazing. But now that I think about it, I completely forgot about Big Sean. And I know he doesn't have that cult following like an ASAP or whoever, but I think in terms of like lyrically and how I felt about his last album, I feel like he would have at least the potential to like get to a level where he's moves up a tier and is respected with the Coles and Drake versus some of the other guys.
Dude, I totally agree. But what's wild, I like legit out of all the people I talk to about music, I feel like you and I are the only like closest thing to like a Big Sean stan, which is weird, dog. Because I think he's actually like super fun. Like every time he dropped, dude, I remember he dropped Finally Famous, the album, not like the mixtapes, but like that album, like his first album. Bro, I went to see Wiz only because Big Sean was opening for him. Like, I could give a fuck about Wiz, even though like Wiz was great at the time. And like every album that he's dropped, I literally stopped what I'm doing to check him out. So yeah, it's just weird to me how like he has appeal, bro, because he's a fucking, first of all, he's widely famous, millionaire, killing it numbers wise. But yeah, like he doesn't get the respect, I think, which is just weird, dog. Because like they always tell you about those stupid one-liners he has. I'm like, bro, everyone has fucking dumb, corny one-liners. Like, listen to the whole song, let alone the fucking entire album.
Right. Yeah, I was literally listening to him at the gym earlier, and some of the shit he said, like, I was just blown away. And I'm like, damn, how does he come up with this? Because like as an artist myself, obviously I try to come up with witty shit from time to time. And some of the stuff Big Sean says, I'm like, this is arguably more clever than something that Drake has said or put together. And I know he's respected, but I feel almost never do people put him in the same level category as J. Cole or
no, he's not even
Kendrick or any of those guys.
Yeah, he's not even in the conversation, which is why when Kendrick even went at him, it wasn't even a big deal. It was just Kendrick bullying the little rapper in the game. It wasn't even like Kendrick going up against like a formidable opponent, which I think it would be like a dope back and forth. But yeah, dude, like that was like dismissed after the Kendrick like song because it was like, bro, like come on, like you're not fucking with Kendrick. Like it literally felt like Kendrick was bullying another rapper.
Right. And I think that was the first time he was entered that conversation was because of the Control verse. And then it like forced people to think about it like, oh, maybe he is a worthy opponent of Drake or Kendrick or any of these guys. However, for whatever reason, people still haven't taken him that serious. And I do think him linking up with Hit Boy is like one of the better things he could have
100%.
possibly done.
Yeah,
and it almost makes me think that if anybody links up with Hit Boy, like they're guaranteed to bring out the best of themselves.
Yeah. And dude, Hit Boy has the making. So like another one, I think he's actually younger than us, right? Hit Boy, like I think he's like maybe 28, 29, like kind of young.
Yeah, I think somewhere around there.
But he has the makings from what I've seen, bro. Like him and Metro booming, that it's not going to be these producers who have like a nice like 3-year run and go away. Like these guys seem like they can really make all kinds of music, and like they're not slaves to the newest technology that came out like for the past 4 years. And then, you know, they're out of here once that technology upgrades and then everyone can do that similar beat. That makes sense. Like, I like these guys actually know how to compose music as opposed to making a fire beat for like a song.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, I think A$AP Rocky, Big Sean, and Future, I think more Future than Young Thug. I for whatever reason, I know Young Thug is extremely popular, extremely wealthy. But I don't think he has the mass appeal that a Future has. Like, I don't know if people are like, yo, we already have one dread-headed dude, like, kind of like you, so we're like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
But, like, I personally think Young Thug is way more talented, but I don't think he ever reached that level of what Future has. Maybe because Future was, like, the first, like, trap rap kind of guy.
Yeah, I think that, and I also feel like it's funny even saying the phrase language barrier, but I feel like Young Thug is like literally harder to understand for a lot of people.
Yeah, it goes over their head. Like, they have to really slow that shit down. But which is wild though, bro, because the criticism of Future when he first came out, like he was the epitome of mumble rap.
Right.
Like, bro, like mumble rap is one thing. Literally, like non-coherent was Future, bro. Like I'd be like, yo, what the fuck did he just say? Like I'd be at the barbershop and then they're like, yeah, bro, we don't know either. Like I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I felt the same way about him too. He was definitely one of the artists where he had to grow on me, and I just wasn't understanding like I think even T-Pain criticized his use of auto-tune. Like it didn't sound
Future?
Yeah, like it didn't sound like the pitch was being corrected in a way that sounded good. It was kind of just like he turned the fucking feature on and it was just rapping as if he was just a rapper. But over time, I think he's definitely made like a signature sound, and every Southern dude who raps nowadays kind of tries to emulate him.
Yeah, dude, the fact that he went from whatever his first few tracks were that we really didn't understand, but kind of seemed fire, but we didn't really know what the fuck he was saying, to like 7 years later winning. Like, I remember like, it was right around the time of What a Time, but he won like Best Songwriter of the Year. So to think like he went from that to that is pretty fucking remarkable. Shit. So yeah. And again, bro, I'm telling you, I've been to 2 or 3 of his shows, and dude, 2 have been in a very predominantly white area. So that crowd was fully like Caucasian, and bro, all ages losing their fucking minds when he performed. Like, cause yo, this motherfucker just has bangers, bro. Like the catalog, like it's funny, cause I can't even rattle off like that many songs off my head, but I know for a fact if we did, like, bro, it is like 20 plus tracks of just heat coming at you. So, and
these are all tracks that, because I don't know, for me at least, because I'm not a super crazy avid Future listener, I think of what comes to mind is like Mask Off and maybe a couple other tracks, but I guess
this is like
that
the
whole catalog.
Extensive and mainly just him.
Got it.
Like he's not the feature on the song that he happens to be a part of a banger. Like it's his shit. So yeah, dude, he like dances and then he brings out like kids to dance, like choreo, like part of the dance. Like the shit's like proper show. Like, cause I went to see the Meek Mill and Future like joint concert in 2019, and I was like, I thought like in my mind, oh, Meek Mill, he just got out of jail. This album's fucking fire. Blah blah blah. Bro, like you could keep Meek Mill. That shit was terrible. Like, yo, he just stands around like that. Like whatever you think of like an old school hip hop performance, that's Meek Mill. But whereas Future is like a show, like change of outfits, like yo, a full show, bro. So again, I think people don't even like properly appreciate what he is Because I think he's also pretty young as well. But yeah, I can see that. But dude, talking about people falling off, by the way, like, yeah, like I know we've mentioned this before, but bro, yo, to think that Meek Mill went from Champions and we're like, yo, this motherfucker's back and like he's gonna take over hip hop. He dropped a classic. So whatever the fuck he is now, 2.5 years later, is wild, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like wild. Like
right.
This shit changes quick, dog.
And he would have been the number one, like when we were talking about who would have been on top, he would have been like number one contender.
Bro,
back
and he didn't even cross, like, tell me if I'm lying. He didn't cross either of our minds. Like, there's
he
no way
briefly
you
did, but I was like, there's
really?
not because I particularly think I just know like that's how the media or whoever you want to call it is trying to portray him, like, you know, aligning with the Jay-Z's and these fucking billionaire. Yeah. Like, it just automatically thinks or makes you think this is who the industry is trying to tell you is the guy, like the lyricist and savior of hip hop and stuff. But I don't think the average person like you and I or music goer is gonna stop everything they're doing to listen to a Meek album or spend hundreds of dollars to run to.
I mean, we did though. Concert. Like, we were doing that.
Yeah.
And then just something happened where he's just like, I don't know if it was the antics with 6ix9ine or some of the interviews he was sounding like crazy. I don't know, bro. Like, that fall off was quick, dog. Because I really thought the Drake beef was the end of him, but then he got locked up. He did drop a very good album before going to jail, but then everyone, like, dude, all of us wrote that whole free Meek movement. Like, we were just like, yo, get him out. Come on, bro. He deserves better. And he got out, and dude, Champions was a fucking yo. That's one album, yo. The first listen, I'm like, yo, classic, dog. Like, I don't need to hear this shit again. Like, this is fucking great. Mm-hmm. So to go from that to whatever the fuck he is or isn't now, like, dude, so soon after is wild, bro. And it really wasn't because like some artists like destroyed you on a track. It was just people just really didn't want to fuck with you anymore. Like, for no other reason besides like, yo, nothing you say we really care anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, like, the vibes I get from him is like the dude in high school who is obsessed with being the cool kid and just wants to butt into every conversation and call other people corny. I think that's why a lot of people, including myself, respected Nipsey so much, because Nipsey wasn't like, you just knew he was like an official dude and a gangster, and he wasn't, but he didn't have to fucking shit on 6ix9ine all day and other people to prove that.
He would let you do the opposite, like, bro, like, I don't want to talk about it.
He's like, I don't want to talk about it. Let him be, because he's nowhere in my like atmosphere that I need to give a shit. Whereas like the gangster rappers who feel the need to get on Twitter and talk shit about 6ix9ine, it's like, it's all self-validation. Like, oh, I'm cool because I'm shitting on a snitch.
Yeah, that's wild though, bro. And then that's like, I think about myself. Like, I had a situation recently and I was like, I didn't want to like talk to some people because I'm like, bro, I don't want to get too high or low in that conversation just yet. But to think about all those times that it seemed, again, we only see what we are allowed to see through interviews and like, you know, IG or whatever. Like, it seemed like every time that Nipsey had a moment to get really fucking like angry or some shit, or like really like vocalize and like hate, he was always just like calm, like just like was able to like fully be aware of like the moment he's in and the exact words to be said that will never portray him in a way that's not just positivity, which is why I think people got so sad, because like we didn't lose just like anybody. Like, this guy really felt like somebody not really from this world, the way he went about most of his like, you know, public persona.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of the distinction between a lot of these rappers is they all want to be Pac and Nipsey and this and that, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like they're putting any of what these people do into practice, and they think being the tough guys is what makes them. Like, oh, Nipsey carried a gun or did this and that, therefore, you know, I'm just like him. But they're not following any of the positive like principles or whatever that they preached.
Yeah, dude, to your point, do you think it really was just like people saw him like especially like after 6ix9ine got released, like engaging with him, and people were like, bro, come on, like, really? Like,
yeah, if it was like one or two tweets, I feel like it would have gone over. But I think in a weird way, and it's crazy how the internet works, but the internet kind of turned on Meek and just made him look like a clown. And then academics, it got to a point where it reached academics, and even they were like beefing over academics not posting his album. And then it got to a point where he didn't want academics posting about him at all, and people were just like, all right, you clearly are having struggles with like your identity as a rapper, and like what you want and who you are and who you're going to engage with. And I think people just are kind of over it. And granted, I think at the end of the day, people care about hits too, and I don't think he's really had a moment like that in a minute.
He came out with a song after like the album run. Again, that Champions album is a fucking classic. So like, this is not shitting on his music, because like there's been moments like I'm like, yo, this is fire, dog. And because even like when he had that beef with Drake, like the album that he promoted, like that I think he was just mad that Drake didn't promote his shit. But the album they were talking about was fire, and so like people really just turned on him because Drake bodied him. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, we gotta pick one. We're going with the fucking dude, the dude who won the battle. But it wasn't his music that fell off. You know what I mean? It was just like people didn't like him anymore. But yeah, I really think these answers with 6ix9ine, and then he has come out with music since Champions, and it's just been like, I don't know, maybe he's not believable anymore or whatever, but it just doesn't sound like the same. Like he had a Justin Timberlake song, I'm like, trash. He just came out with a song that should have been like, yo, Lil Baby and Lil Durk, for whatever reason, are like the biggest things out right now. And dude, that was like bro, I didn't fucking stop my day to listen to this fucking thing, which we should have, considering who Meek was just fucking a year and a half ago, bro. Like,
right. And I do think, even though he and Drake are cool again, I think that tarnished his brand a little bit. He got into fights with Quentin Miller and Safari, two dudes who like nobody sees as real threats or gangsters.
Yeah,
so it's
why
like,
do you care?
Why are you beating them up over some dumb shit? Not even anything serious. So I feel like people just aren't taking
on our
him
fucking
serious.
audio theory page is like,
right.
Like, what are you doing with your
from that random
account?
fake ass? Yeah, that shit was so fake. So yeah, I think that's what's funny about a lot of these dudes is they just don't admit that they're in their feelings until it becomes serious. Like, wasn't it the Drake thing where he claimed, now I was on Percocets or something? That's
dude, that came out like after he was out of jail, right? So even that was just like, bro, really? Like, I mean, again, if you're on drugs, like, who am I to judge you while you're in? But like, I don't know, bro. It just seemed like, I know, because I know that moment was meant to be like a very in-depth, like, look into behind the scenes of his life with Charlemagne. But it just came across like, bro, you just seem like a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so.
And that's why I commend Joyner Lucas. There was a random thing I saw on Genius where he and Logic had beef for a little bit over they both had their own suicide hits, or not hits, but songs, and Logic's became a hit. And
bro, banger.
Joyner,
that's like the only fucking song I like.
Yeah, and Joyner basically blamed or said that Logic kind of stole his idea essentially, and I think it kind of spiraled into a beef. But then later on, Joyner admitted that he was just jealous of Logic's success, and I feel like a lot of these rappers never want to admit things like that, and that's why I don't like it. This whole like, I'm always unbothered, unfazed, I'm never vulnerable type of attitude, because it's just not realistic.
Yeah, no, I agree. And which is, I'm gonna give credit to where it's due. And obviously, we're both big Kanye fans. But dude, I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, he would visibly say like, yeah, I'm annoyed that I'm a musical genius, but Drake's the most popular rapper in the world. Like, he would say that. So like, again, like, you can't really get mad because it's just like, all right, dude, he's being honest. Like, most people won't say that shit. Like, if they get asked that question, they usually say a rapper who's dead or themselves. They don't usually say someone who's currently banging out hits every fucking week.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, great topic. So before we get to Heat of the Week, I do want to just get your reaction to the Baby Keem album. That really was, dude, very enjoyable. I didn't even realize he was the dude who made the song with Travis Scott, Do-Rag Activity, aka Drug Activity, aka would have been a way better title for that song. But the Melodic Blue, yeah, dude, your thoughts on the album? It was a nice break for me from Donda and CLB for a little bit.
Yeah. What I really appreciate about appreciate about Baby Keem is he's just refreshing in general in terms of like his sound, and different from all the shit that we typically hear. Obviously, it will remind you of Kendrick with kind of the
Right, because he's in a couple
weird
songs.
voice,
Yeah.
the annotations and vocals and stuff that he does. I thought the album itself was enjoyable as well. It didn't blow my mind or anything. I definitely do have to listen to it again. If I was gonna do it for Donda and CLB, I feel like I owe it to him to listen.
For yourself, right? Because you just may miss out on songs that actually make you like bangers. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's dope that someone like him is doing something different and not afraid to do so. Granted, he has like arguably one of the best mentors on the planet to go down this road, but he's also a really dope person, like interview wise. Like if you watch any of his interviews, he's super down to earth, not like your stereotypical young fuckboy rapper who thinks they're, you know, better than everyone else type of vibe. Like he definitely seems serious about his craft, and obviously it shows.
Yeah, dude, so for me, similar, like it was refreshing, dude. The refreshing sound, because if we go back to like, it literally came out the week after both of those guys. So Donda was like all over the place, but you know, musical work of art. And then Drake was just like your typical Drake hip hop album, right? Like even though like they were both different, they both had a formula which you kind of get. Whereas like Baby Keem was like all over the place, but in the best possible way, right? Like it was all kinds of fucking hip hop songs that he was trying, but it was just very refreshing. Like I remember my boys were asking me, should we download the album? I'm like, bro, it's like, I would, bro. It's like new age rap with like, you know, he's not really having a safety net. It's just like, yeah, I'm going to try different ways of doing this, but like in the core of it, it's still me. So like, I thought it was very enjoyable. Is that one of the songs going to be my hit of the week actually? Cause like one of those, like I really played it a lot. Yeah, man, again, I love it when I'm like thoroughly surprised, you know what I mean? And this is not like to destroy, I didn't know him as an artist. Like I heard Do-Rag Activity, and that's like the first time I ever heard him. So if you told me the guy who did that song, which on the surface is just your typical hip hop banger, you're gonna give me 14 tracks where I'm like, yo, there's not really that many skips here, bro. This is actually pretty good. And a lot of songs he's singing or has like an R&B beat with a hint of hip hop. You're like, oh, this is fucking like pretty impressive that you picked this to be the song you fucking rap over. So, and I think those 2 or 3 songs that he has Kendrick on, like, it's not like a forced feature. Like, that seems like them in the studio vibing and like, yo, I think we figured it out. Let's go and like record now. Like, so yeah, I thought it was, bro, that shit, this has the making of like, not a classic, but like something that you can see propel him to like get more notoriety and respect, because yeah, bro, the album was great. And this is like maybe like the nerd in me. But bro, if you look at the cover art, hold on, let me just get this shit up. So the cover art is him on that like rainbow, like diving
the dock
board,
or whatever.
The dock, yeah, dock. But so I don't know this kid. This is like me like getting too into like mushrooms at time, right? So if you look, the water all around him is like being disturbed, right?
Oh yeah.
But the water in front of him is clear, and there's no disturbance. So I'm wondering if that's like, yo, everything around you could be going whatever, but like as long as you're focused ahead, the shit's clear. And again, that just made me be high. But I'm just saying, like at the time, I was like, yo, like this shit. It was like,
no,
yo, this is
I feel like there's no way that's a mistake, because I didn't notice that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't happen. Dude. You throw a rock in the water, the whole part of the water has fucking vibrations. Like, yeah,
that was definitely, it has to be intentional. And I feel like your theory isn't something crazy. You would need 14 blunts or 20 string caps.
I was sober when I thought about it, but I was like, I was also high afterwards. I'm like, yo, this is definitely what the fuck I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a dope take. I wonder if anyone else has thought of that or even noticed that.
Yeah, that'd be dope to check out like the comments when he first dropped the cover art, bro. Because I was looking, I'm like, yo, this shit is fire. And then just like you on like Apple started doing the thing where like the thing also like it's a video really, like not just a picture. Nice. I'm like, yo, how is everything else disturbed but in front of him is completely like calm? Like so yeah, I don't know if that was whatever, but either way, bro, great cover art, but even better album. Like I really enjoyed it. Like this was not like a force, because I saw everyone was posting him, but I'm like, bro, like I don't want to just be another fucking dick rider. But I was like, yo, this shit is actually like fucking good. So kudos to him. And again, super young kid.
Yeah, 20.
I think the first thing he did with his money was buy his mom and grandma a house. Like, dude, how can you not fucking root for people like that?
For sure. And I'm sure people were hating in the comments like, yo, he bought his grandma a house. Shouldn't Kendrick have done that shit if they have the same grandma?
It's only a townhouse. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, fuck you, dog. Like,
yeah. What were you doing at 20 years old?
Dude, remember they gave him shit? I think they gave Kendrick shit, right? I think he gave like one of his sisters like a Toyota,
like a Camry or something.
And it's like, bro, like, dude, who are you giving a car to? Like, first of all, like, I'm gonna give a 60-year-old a fucking Lambo? Like, what the fuck are you talking?
And what happens when she needs to get a fucking oil change and it's $700?
Right. Like, dude, like, yeah, like, I love how people assume like millionaires and billionaires also don't like have like standards of like what's required for happiness.
Right. Yeah.
Like, just because I'm a billionaire, I'm gonna fucking buy my 13-year-old a fucking yacht. Like,
he
doesn't deserve that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
right. And as if like, I would understand if he bought her a 2003 Camry because it's like, yo, this shit might not last. But who's to say a brand new vehicle that isn't a foreign is not enough? Like, just because you can do some shit doesn't mean it's necessary. And that she's gonna be a target too. Like, if you want her to get fucking robbed at the Chevron across the street,
going to Target, that car is gone because like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, bro. Yeah, people, I mean, the internet's funny, bro. I think we were looking at some comments earlier. I'm like, bro, people have way too much time. But I did agree with the fucking Corday and what's her name, Naomi thing, bro. She looked wild, bro. Like, I know it's the Met Gala, but I was like, bro, I think she's a pretty girl. But, bro, I know, again, they try to be the most eccentric. But I was like, fam, like, because he looked fly as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, fam, like, what? If that was like my girl, I'm like, nah, fam, we not doing this. Like,
I feel like to him, it was like, it is that thing of, you want the most attention, and in his mind, he's probably like, yo, I look pretty regular, so whatever you do is probably gonna be more normal compared to the rest of these motherfuckers. So
yeah. No, I agree. And like I think the latest meme is like the one of Kendall and Kim side by side, and she's like gorgeous and Kim's all black. And it's like me outside is Kendall, but my anxiety is Kim. You know what I mean? Like, just
she was doing the basically the Kanye thing where you can't see shit.
The Donda thing, yeah. Okay.
I don't understand how the fuck they even see or breathe through that shit.
Well, I think it's sheer or whatever, but it's apparently it's all Balenciaga. But I'm like, I mean, dude, like, whatever, dude. Like, what the fuck do we know about fashion?
Yeah.
But like, I'm sure you got paid a fucking like $1 million to just wear that shit. But
true.
But the guy definitely wasn't Kanye though, so like people felt like, oh, they're back together. I mean, I don't know if they are back together because I know they got married on stage at the Donda 3 thing, but whatever, bro. These guys have too much money to fucking even care what they do anymore. But all right, bro. Great episode. Let's get to some heat of the week before we get out of here. So bro. Episode 85, top 5. I'll go first. I already brought it up. So my heat of the week, again, really could be the entire fucking Baby Keem album, but one song that stood out to me the most was I fucking saved it. I apologize. Oh, Issues, bro. Very, again, not too obvious, but melodic beat as fuck. Very chill intro, and then he just hits you with very like cutting edge lyrics. Then again, when you're thinking that he's like a 19, 21-year-old, whatever, like, it's impressive to hear someone that young have very clear thoughts and get their message across over a very fun beat. So I would say Issues by Baby Keem is definitely my heat of the week.
Nice. Not quite my heat of the week. I honestly have to give it more time. When I literally skimmed through it within 10 minutes when it came out, just because there was so much music and it was late. But I definitely have to listen to it again. But my heat of the week was, I went back to Kanye's catalog just to remind myself of the older stuff he put out, and I forgot how much I loved Graduation when it came out. And that's when I just started college, or we just started college. And the song that blew my mind all over again was I Wonder.
Oh my God.
Every time I played it in my car, I mean, even on headphones, it's dope. But I was like, I would love to hear this song live. With
right, because when it came out, we didn't have a car.
Right. Yeah, I had this shit on my laptop in my little ass dorm room.
Yeah.
But to hear like a whole symphony and everything, like play the strings and see Kanye perform that song would, especially after partaking in some substances, that song would probably be the craziest thing on the planet. You could probably die a happy man after hearing it. So
yeah,
I
Wonder is fire. That's it. I'm going through the entire 13 track list, dude. No skips.
Right.
There are no skips on this.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I was like, damn, I really appreciated the fact it wasn't super long. Like it was just enough.
It was concise, bro. Almost an hour, 51 minutes. And bro, like I know we mentioned this before, and I'm gonna repeat myself, but if you didn't catch last episode, it doesn't matter to you then. But bro, to think that 50 Cent thought he had a chance is wild.
Yeah. Well, back then,
I realized the album was Curtis. So all he really had was a couple like, dude. What helped him, I think,
is that I Still Kill or whatever, or I Still Will.
So, dude, he did have a couple. He did have a couple, but it was, dude. He really turned in. Dude, let's just look it up, bro. This is what we do. We look up shit to prove our points. So Curtis. So this is the couple tracks that stood a chance, right? So I Still Kill was fire, right? I Get Money was fire. Yeah, dude, but AO Technology wasn't actually good, bro. That's like when Timberland and Timberlake were at their peak, and this nigga was just begging for a hit. He's like, yo, let me get them. Don't get me a hit. Like, yo, it really wasn't that, but it was that because of the names.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much it, dude. Straight to the Bank was, yo, that was his lead single, bro, and that was trash. Like, for a lead single. And then, yeah, dude, the I Get Money remix that he tried to, like, you know, he begged Diddy and Jay-Z to jump on. Like, bro, this, yeah, dude, it wasn't good. So, yeah. And again, but even, it could be whoever Kanye went up against. That album Graduation was ridiculous. Yeah. And to think that's not even his, like, top 3 albums, probably, like, if you think about it. Like, maybe it's top 3. Like, it'll be 3, though. Like, I think there's.
Yeah. I think it's you talking about Curtis or Graduation?
Graduation. I think it's obviously My Dark Twisted Fantasies 1. I do think College Dropout, just for like what it did as a cultural movement, like shifting hip hop in that direction.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think if the album doesn't drop, I don't think we have a Drake, a Kid Cudi. Like, I don't think we even have those artists right now. So
for me, Graduation is definitely top 3.
Yeah, but I would think it's 3.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, what song? Isn't there a song that it has? Isn't John Mayer on a song on this fucking album on Graduation?
Wait, no, he might be at the end of something. I think
he's at the end of something. I think you're right. Yeah, but bro, Homecoming was a fucking movie. Like that was like, dude, ridiculous. Because that was when like people really weren't having Chris Martin on fucking like, people weren't really fucking with like rock like that. And then Big Brother, like again, to my point earlier when like Kanye admitted that, yo, he gets annoyed that Drake is the best artist, like not on some, at the time, not on some hating shit, just like it annoys him. Dude, the fact that Big Brother is just him professing his admiration for Jay-Z is also fucking crazy. Like, dude, think about that now. Like, yeah, well, people like, they'll shout out your album, but like, no one's really like giving you a fucking song saying, bro, you're the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Thank you, God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that song is amazing. And definitely something I feel like, I mean, has Drake even done that for Wayne? I think it's obvious that Drake owes him.
He idolizes him, bro.
Yeah,
like that's for sure. And I've seen, and Lil Durk is always calling Drake the GOAT all the time. But I just think as far as like, I'm sure Drake will at some point, but like, I think he's giving him plenty of flowers while he's alive. But the fact that Kanye at his peak, maybe not his peak, but like was the #1 artist in the world at the time, was like, yo, I gotta give you your flowers on this album because, yo, like, if it wasn't for you, I'd be nothing. Even the times that I got mad at you, I'm gonna talk about it, but I'm gonna tell you why I still love. Like, that was amazing, bro. So, yeah, Kanye, bro, that motherfucker's a genius, bro. So, yeah, we love him. But yeah, great. Graduation's a great choice, and that song, I Wonder, is phenomenal. But dude, Drunken Hot Girls, like, bro,
the funny thing is when I heard that, and it's funny that I heard this in college, that song in college, and wasn't like the biggest fan of it at the time. I think it was just because relative to the other songs, it was like this one, it was like the Way Too Sexy of the album. I was like, this is random as fuck. But now that I hear the beat, and I literally, it was one of the few songs I added to my everyday playlist. I'm like,
oh, nice.
This beat and song is so simple but so amazing.
Yeah, dude. And then, like, dude, because so were you a freshman when this album dropped, or you were?
Yeah, freshman.
Okay, so was I. But I was dating a girl. So I was obviously we were 18, 19. But I was dating someone in London, so I would go to London for long breaks. So I went to London for fall break. The album dropped in August, right? Or September 11th. So I was already in London. The album was already doing crazy numbers. So I'm able to go clubbing though, because it's 18 and over in London, right? For drinking and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So dude, I'm in a club and they start playing flashing lights. Bro, movie, dog. So like, I was just like, if I need a reminder who like was the better album, like, bro, like, I was like, this, again, whoever the fuck was pitted against Kanye was losing, bro. Like, because this album, bro, from first song to last song, no skips. And dude, what's the song where he's like, you got D's, motherfucking D's, Rosie Perez? I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, no, it was wild.
Oh, I think it was it Good Morning? It might have been Good Morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was that one. Oh, the John Mayer one's Bittersweet Poetry or Bittersweet, but I don't see it on my Spotify, which is weird.
Is it even on the album though? Maybe it was on Late Registration. Nah, I feel like it was on this one.
No, everything I looked up, it shows the graduation picture, and then there's several YouTube videos, but it's not on Spotify.
Yeah, it's not on Apple either. That's why I said that.
Oh,
yeah,
it was a bonus track. That's why, I guess.
Oh, was it? Okay, I guess like maybe Tidal fucking has it. Fucking concept. All right, man.
Do you
Great
think?
episode.
Sorry to add one thing. Do you think Drunk and Hot Girls would survive in today's climate in terms of the content? Because when I listen to it, I'm like, he doesn't say anything outlandish, but the whole song's just basically about looking for drunk and hot girls, and I feel like some people might interpret it as some like rapey type shit.
Nah, bro. I think it would survive and still be a hit today, considering that this motherfucker made "You're Such a Fucking Hoe, I Love It" the #1 song in the country.
That's true.
2 years ago, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah. All right. Problem solved.
Because also it wasn't him, but didn't and again, this wasn't like during the height of the Me Too movement. This was like in 2009 or maybe, but whatever. What was that song that like Lupe Fiasco and Pharrell had about like Molly in the bathroom? Do you remember that? Like,
oh yeah, it was Everybody Knows, but like knows.
Yeah. But how did that hook go? Do you remember like the format of that song essentially was like, like that.
All the girls standing in the line for the bathroom or something.
Yeah, all the girls standing in the line. Yeah. So
Yeah.
So like to think that was like a #1 song as well in the country, that is wild. So yeah, I don't think that song, because it's too obvious, right? Like it's just like, bro, that's fucking aggressive. But yeah, dude, like who knows, bro? Like it's cancel culture's at all-time high. But I think Drunk and Hot Girls will still be like a banger. But so not to, we'll get out of here in a second. But what's wild, and again, another benefit of Drake is that if we compare, and then he's only playing by the rules set out by Billboard and streaming services today. But another reason why like he's breaking all these records is that, remember, back then, the radio determined who had the #1 songs in the country, right? And no radio was getting requests for all 10 songs on an album. You know what I mean? Like, artists put out one song, maybe two, and then dropped the album. So like you only had one, or like there was a plan. Whereas now it's like you're getting the entire album on one day. You have no tracks to refer to and enjoy it. So again, to people who are like, yo, it's a different time. I agree. But again, you can only play by the rules now, and he clearly knows how to fucking make that shit look good.
Yeah, it's shitty. Like, even as an artist myself, like there's several major Spotify playlists, and like there's even gatekeepers for that shit, and they make it seem like you can't pay to get on. And I won't like throw any people under the bus, but I sent my shit to so many different playlists, not Spotify owned or anything, but like at least they look like they have big followers. They could have fucking paid for them. Who knows what is real anymore? But they all asked for a payment in order to put my song on their playlist, and I just think it's shady, especially because you can't even vet whether or not the numbers are real half the time. So I of course didn't pay for it, and nor is it even it's not even legal to do that. But yeah, it's fucked up how behind the scenes you can still basically pay to get streams. I don't think Drake has to do that, but I know
No.
there's
I think
definitely
if
other
anything,
artists who do
Spotify's
that.
like paying him. Is like, yo, give us your fucking
Yeah.
songs like a day early or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that just came to my mind, like, yeah, like, because when you mentioned I Wonder, but like, I Wonder wasn't on the Billboard because like no, like the radio wasn't playing I Wonder, like they were playing like Flashing Lights and Home because those were the singles that he chose to release.
Yeah.
Whereas like technically Drake only chose to release Way Too Sexy, and the rest just happened to be hits that event, you know, like so like it's such a different time, bro. Like that's just, it is what it is.
100%.
All right, brother. Great episode. I love you. Let the people know where they can check us out and what we're working on.
Yes, sir. Check us out at audio-theory.com on all major streaming platforms. New episode every week. We also will be having merch launching very, very soon, for you guys. So when that does come out, we'll obviously announce it and have the link in the description box if you're on YouTube, as well as the website, so audio-theory.com. And then we'll be planning a rollout of interviews as well. So be on the lookout for that. Or if you're an artist yourself, hit us up and we'll review your catalog.
100%, man. I love it. We're out of here, guys. Peace.
Peace.